Hey you guys. Oh, yep. Okay, cool. Okay, guys, we're gonna start today by talking about transformations. You'll have 3 days worth of transformation video lessons and guided notes. Um, and then a fourth day about triangle congruence theorems. And then that next time you will have a test. So make sure that you are participating, you're paying attention, you're getting understanding from these videos, from the notes, from your classmates. They're supporting each other during this time. Okay. So I'm gonna switch my screen so that we can um do these notes together. Okay. So first we're gonna start by defining what a rigid motion is. Let me get my pen all ready. That one. Okay. So a rigid motion is a transformation that keeps the same shape but changes location and position. Okay, and there's three types that we're going to talk about specifically. If you have room still, hopefully you do. We're going to write rotation, reflection, and translation. Okay. Um, so notice how that doesn't mention a dilation in this specifically. It's not a rigid motion because that would change like the shape, the size of the shape, and not just its location and position. So we're gonna just focus on these three. Today we are just focusing on translation, so we're gonna define a couple more things. There are four main types of transformation, so we will throw dilations into this one, but know that it is not considered a rigid motion. Okay, so we're gonna have translation, reflection, rotation, and dilation. Okay. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Ugh. Okay, we're gonna talk about the image next. Okay, the image is the new shape after a transformation. Okay, and this is just an example of what the notation we would use would be. Let's say we had a triangle and our original one was called ABC. Then our new transformed one would be triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So whenever we have a transformation, that little prime, the little apostrophe on top is what's telling us that it was transformed. Okay, and talking about the pre-image, this was the original shape before any transformations. So if this was our new shape, then our original one would just have been triangle ABC. Okay, and then we're going to talk about what a translation is. So a translation is when we move. I don't even know what just happened. Hopefully you wrote that down. We're moving on to translation. Okay. It's when you move the shape left or right. I'm just gonna use a dash for that. Left, right, or up and down. Okay, and we've worked with translations a lot this year. We've done translations of linear functions and exponential functions. And I'm sure in middle school you've done transformations of shapes before, so hopefully this isn't gonna feel too new. Translations is the easiest of them all, so we're just gonna crank this out today. Okay. Whoa. Here we go. Okay. So we're gonna do a couple of examples together. So we're gonna start by graphing the triangle RST with vertices at 2, 2, 5, 2, and 3, 5. And then its image after this translation. And I'm going to explain what it's like telling it to do in just a second, but let's just start by graphing that triangle. So we have a point at 2, 2 right there, 5, 2, and 3, 5. And you're going to connect and label. So this one was R, S, T. Okay. And then we're going to graph this new transformation in a different color. I'm going to do pink. That feels fun. Okay, so for our original one, R was at 2, comma 2. Then R prime, it's saying to add 1 to the X value and then 2 to the Y value. Okay, so for the X value here, we're going to do 2 plus this 1, which is going to be 3. And then to this Y value, we're going to do 2 plus 2, making it 4. And then we're going to graph that. So at 3, comma 4 is right there. We're going to label it R prime. Okay. Our original S was at 5, comma 2. And that's going to S prime. Therefore, we'll be adding 1 to the 5. So we got 6. And adding 2 to the 2. So that would be 4. So we have 6, comma 4 is right there. I'm going to label it S prime. And then T is at 3, comma 5. So T prime is at 4, comma 7. Adding 1 to this 3 because of what it says up here, 2 to that 5, making it 7, and then graphing it. There, T prime. And then you'll connect, and that's our transformation. Okay. So what you can see on the graph, it looks like we moved, sorry, hold up. Ah, stop doing that. Cool. Looks like we moved right 1 and up 2 spaces. Okay, and we can see that here actually. Okay, so the X value is going to tell you how far left and right you're moving. And so when we're adding 1, we're actually moving to the right one. I know it's kind of different with an exponential function. But when we're talking about just like the transformation, it is a positive adding 1 to that X value. Okay, so it's exactly how you would think right would be adding, left would be subtracting. Okay, and then when it's happening, whoa, sorry. Ah, we're adding right 1. This one would be up and down, so the Y value is up and down. If it's adding, it's going to be up. Subtracting will be down, so this is going to be an up 2. Okay, so really could have just moved all those points right 1 and up 2, but I wanted you to get an idea of like the meaning of the adding 1 and the adding 2, what it's doing to the points. But ultimately it's just a right 1 up 2. Okay, let's do this next one. We're going to graph quadrilateral ABCD with vertex C. I gotta look at my paper because that's blurry. 1, comma, negative 2. So right here is A. B is at 2, 1. Right there. C, 4, 1. So B, C. D is at 4, negative 2. Gonna connect. And if you remember from our shapes unit, that's a trapezoid. All it's got going for it is one set pair of parallel lines. Okay, so There's no, well, okay, there is right angles in this, but there's that one, this corner of A is not a right angle. So it can't be a rectangle or not. Okay, just a trapezoid. Cool. And then we're going to graph its transformation, which is just going to be translations this time around. So if we have an x minus 1, remember x is going to be left or right. Because we're subtracting, it's actually going to be left this time. So this is going to be moved left 1. And then this plus 4 is again an up 4. So you can go in and like mark all the endpoints. That might be more exact in some cases. Your test will be online using Derivata, and I know sometimes the graphing, if you're just a little off, it does mark you wrong. So just make sure you're being extra careful. It could be helpful to know where those points are going to land so you can double check your work instead of just like moving it left 1 and up 4 and then you accidentally moved it up 5. It could help. So just make sure you do know how we did it on number 1. But this is easy enough to just go ahead and do. Just be extra super careful on that online test, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna switch colors back again. And we're gonna move each of these left 1 and up 4. So 1 and then 4. It's right there. We're gonna label it A prime. 1 and hold on, I'm thinking. 4 is right there. 1, 4. And 1, 4. Connect. And that's it. Okay, that's all we're doing today. This next one is saying to write a rule for this translation from triangle ABC to triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. Basically, it just wants us to write, sorry. It wants us to write basically this, but for this already transformed figure. Okay, so we're going to start with x comma y. Come on. Let me write. Okay, x comma y, parentheses, and got this arrow saying we moved it. Okay, I'm just going to compare A and A prime. You can look at any of the points. They should all be moved the same. But we're just going to see how far left or right we went from the original to the new, then how far up and down. Okay, so if I'm starting here at A, it looks like I'm moving 1, 2 boxes to be in line with this A prime right here. So that was a right 2. And I will show that by adding 2 to my X value. Okay. Then we're going to do the Y. From this point, it looks like we moved down 1. So from my Y value, I'm going to subtract 1. And that's it. That's all we're doing. Okay. If you wanted to pause and try out number 4 and then just check yourself, I'm just going to keep talking. But if you wanted to like jump a little bit of ahead to see if you got it, I feel like you probably got it. But if not, I'm still going to just keep talking through it. Okay. This time I'm going to use maybe C and C prime. Again, it like really doesn't matter. Just make sure you're comparing the pre-image to its image. So you're not comparing C to D, you're doing C to C prime. Okay. So this one, I'm going to start by writing XY. Got an arrow. Okay. So it looks like this time we're moving 1, 2, 3 boxes to the right to be in line with C prime. So that's a right 3. I will add 3 to my X value. Okay. And then again, it looks like we're just moving down 1 box. So my Y is Y minus 1 because minus will be down. And that's it. Okay, let's talk about what a composition of a transformation is. Okay. Composition is one transformation and then another transformation. That was my dog. I don't know if you just saw her in the background. She's mad that all of her humans are distracted working right now. Okay, so one transformation and then another transformation. Ooh, something weird happened here. Let me try to... Ah! How do I move this? Get out of my way! Whatever. I'm just gonna shrink it. Okay. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna graph. This is just a line segment, and we have two translations, one right after the other. So for composition, we could have multiple translations. We could have a translation and then a reflection and then a rotation. It doesn't have to be the same kind of transformation. But since we're just starting off with translations and we haven't really talked about the other ones yet, we're just going to do a composition of transformations that are translations. Okay, so we're going to start by graphing T is at 1, 2. So right here. U is at 4, 6. Right there. I'm gonna connect, label it T and, excuse me, U. Okay, first transformation. We're moving left 2, down 3. Again, you could find the new endpoints, but we're just gonna move them over. And it doesn't want you to graph both of them. So this would be T prime, U prime. And we're gonna graph the other one after that. Okay, this one gets getting moved left 2, down 3, right there. And this one is left 2, down 2, 3. Great there. We're going to label it T prime and U prime and connect. They kind of look like they're overlapping a little bit. It's kind of helpful to use different colors. If you don't have it, that's fine. Just make sure you know how to move the line segment. Okay. Gonna change again to green. Okay. So this one we're gonna call T double prime, U double prime. Okay, remember when we move it twice, it gets a double prime, not just a prime. We don't say prime prime. That'd be weird. Don't do that. Okay. And we are moving from the T prime U prime. We're not moving from the original one. So this time we are moving left 4 and up 5. Okay, so from here we're gonna go left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there. That's T double prime. This one, left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, up 5. Right there. U double prime, and we will connect. Okay. So its pre-image was this TU, and then it has two images after that. The T prime U prime and the T double prime U double prime. And that's it. Okay. Cool. Let's do this next one. So we have a point -6, -4. So we're going to graph it. -6, -4. Right there. We're going to call it V. And W is at -3, +1. Right there. And we'll connect. Gonna switch my colors. Okay, our first one at V prime, W prime looks like we're moving right 3, up 1. Okay, so from here, right 3, 1, 2, 3, up 1. That's V prime. And then this one, right 3, up 1. W prime. Okay, that's it. And then we're gonna graph its second image. Purple. Okay, so we got V double prime and then W double prime. Looks like this time we're moving a left 6 and down 4. Okay, so from here, left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 4, 1, 2, 4. Make sure you're moving from the V prime, W prime, not from the green original one, okay? So left 6, down 4 right there. Okay. And then that's it. Last problem. Okay. You're designing a favicon for a golf website. I'm pretty sure that's just like an icon. I don't know. I haven't heard that word in a long time. In an image editing program, you move the red rectangle, hold on, 2 units left and 3 units down. And then you move the red rectangle 1 unit right and 1 unit up. We're going to rewrite that so it's just one single translation and not necessarily a composition of transformations. But it will help to look at the different pieces in order to make one translation. So, your paper looks like mine in grayscale. So this right here, this is the red rectangle that they're talking about. So we're focused in right here. Okay. There's many ways you can go about this problem. Even if you want to try it on your own and just kind of check at the end, you're welcome to do that. This is how I'm going to do it, just like a major walkthrough to make sure we're understanding what's happening. But you're welcome to try out whatever you think is going to work best for you. Okay. I'm going to start by labeling these points as A, B, C, and D. That just kind of helps me to stay organized with just like the work that I'm doing. Okay. And I'm going to write down what the original points are over here. So A is at the point 8, comma 11. 11. Whatever. B is at 8:14. C 12:14. And D is at 12:11. Okay, and it's going to help to see like what was the first transformation and then the second transformation to see how we can just move from one to the second transformation instead of that middle step. Okay. Change colors more for fun. You could also just move it on the graph if you wanted, and that's fine, but this is just how I'm going to go about doing this. Okay, it looks like for this first one right here, we're going to move 2 units left, so that's an x minus 2, and 3 units down, so y minus 3. Okay, so A prime is now going to be at 6 and 8. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then B prime will be at 6, comma 11. C prime 10, comma 11. And D prime is at 10, comma 8. Okay. And then we're going to move it a second time. Okay. And it looks like this time we're moving it 1 unit right. So that's x plus 1. And 1 unit up, y plus 1. So A double prime, remember we're moving from this one. So we're going to add 1 to 6, and that's going to be at 7 and 9. B double prime is at 7 and 12. C double prime 11 and 12. D double prime 11 and 9. Okay. And our whole goal is to like miss this middle step, right? So if we're going from this 8 right here to this 7, we're really only subtracting 1. And we can see that in all of these x values. We're just subtracting 1 from the x value. So if we're rewriting the rule, we could say x comma y, we have x minus 1. Okay. And then looking at this, these y values, it looks like we're going from 11 to 9. And that's like a minus 2, right? So we have 14 to 12. It looks like we're just subtracting 2 every time from our y values. Okay, so we're going to write y minus 2. And we can kind of see that in these, right? So we went left 2 and then added 1. So that minus 2 and plus 1 just makes this, whoa, sorry. You didn't see what happened, but I did it. It was annoying. And this -1, and then this -3 plus 1 becomes this -2 right here. So again, there's a lot of probably more efficient ways than what we saw, but again, I just want you to get like a deeper understanding of what's happening, making sure I'm being more clear because I'm not there to answer your questions or help you along the way outside of these videos. Um, you may notice that this might feel a little similar to that additional module that you should be working on about vectors. So basically, this could have helped us create a vector -1, -2. Hello, dog. Oh, this is my dog. Yeah, yeah. There she is. Can you say hi? Oh, she's looking for someone to actually say hi to. You can create a vector -1, -2 to show the change in direction where it would have been moved to. So this is very applicable to that additional module. Make sure that you are working on it. It is due May 20th. Don't procrastinate it. The sub is not going to go back in and do your late work. Okay. You will have an assignment to work on just to make sure that this is all solidified. If this felt pretty easy to you, then that'll go by super fast. Make sure that you are, um, participating in these things, that you're answering each other's questions, supporting each other as a class, since I cannot be there. Okay. I hope you guys are doing well. I believe in you. You're gonna do great things. And yeah, I'll see you for the next video. Bye.